Leading in the national polls by 3 points, Kamala Harris appeared on Fox News Wednesday night, and for some reason you got the sense that she felt Bret Baier, the anchorman, wouldn't stop interrupting, sometimes mansplaining, other times racist-splaining. I don't know. Do you think he was interrupting her?
For the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish,
you
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it. Our solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue.
I hear you.
I hear you, but I'm going to still interrupt you. Then the vice president disrespected Bret Baier by talking over him while he was talking over her.
Were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
is. After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand.
Bret later clarified to his Fox News audience that I wasn't disrespecting a woman, I was merely disrespecting a person of mixed race.
Where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
I would like that we would have a conversation.
I love this. Bret apologized for talking over her and then begins to talk over her again.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
And then it got kind of interesting. Let's listen to Bret Baier asking why Donald Trump is doing so well.
If he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States, why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid?
Yes.
God, I would never say that about the American people.
I will. They're very stupid. They're very, very stupid. And then she talked about his fascism, Trump's fascism, and Baier showed how bad a journalist he really is.
The American people, he's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes.
This is journalistic malfeasance because he brings up Harris accusing Donald Trump of having fascistic tendencies. And instead of playing one of the many clips of Donald Trump threatening his opponents with being locked up or even worse, instead of that, he just plays the denial. How hard would it have been to play this?
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
He repeatedly says the enemy within. It's straight out of the Hitler playbook. By the way, I altered his face a little. Bret Baier is reprehensible. It turned out in the Smartmatic voting machine case, there are transcripts of phone conversations he had about a month after the 2020 election where he said, "We let Fox News viewers down by calling the election for Joe Biden so soon. Our polling desk should not have called Arizona so soon. He said, we had to ease our viewers into the reality that Biden was going to be the next president. And it was unfair." He literally said this. It was unfair to our viewers to throw at them so quickly the information that Donald Trump lost in 2020. They are something else. Well, one of the more striking aspects about Harris's appearance on Fox News Wednesday is not just her command of all the issues, her ability to spar with Bret Baier, and of course stay on point. She's also reminding us that in the 3 months since Joe Biden has stepped down, Kamala Harris has run a flawless campaign. 0 hiccups. Picking Coach Waltz as her running mate was a stroke of genius. She crushed Trump in the debate. The convention was a triumph, and she's running a really smart campaign, a disciplined campaign. She has to win in Pennsylvania. She doesn't want to keep campaigning in Pennsylvania, but it's tight, so she's staying in Pennsylvania. Trump, on the other hand, was in Coachella last week playing California. What's he doing chasing crowds in Coachella? He's going to be playing Madison Square Garden this month. What is he doing working states he's never going to win? But Harris remains flawlessly, seamlessly disciplined. She has not misspoken once. Usually by now, there's something her press office has to clear up with a candidate. Nothing. And we have some new polling out this morning that looks